y'all? What's up? It's another episode of Notable Prisons and the Inmates that Occupy them. And today, we have a fellow YouTuber that's being sent behind them walls for some crazy crimes. But what I'm gonna need y'all to do is get them lighters ready. Because, man, this is about to be a good one. So, Ruby Franke. She was a family vlogger who ran the channel that's been erased out of the history of YouTube, 8 Passengers. On August 30th, 2023, she was arrested in Washington County, Utah, and charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse under Utah law, 4 counts of which she pled guilty to. She was sentenced to up to 60 years in prison on February 20th, 2024. In early 2015, Franke created a YouTube channel called 8 Passengers, in which she documented her family life in Utah with her husband Kevin and their 6 children. She originally posted 5 days a week at 6 a.m. As of June 20th, the channel had almost 2.5 million subscribers and amassed 1 billion views. Beginning in 2020, when one of the Franke children said that he had been banned from his bedroom and made to sleep on a beanbag for 7 months, viewers became concerned about his mother's disciplinary methods, which also included withholding food and sending a child to a wilderness camp for troubled teens, and threatening to behead a stuffed toy, and telling 2 of her children that Santa Claus would not be bringing them anything for Christmas that year because they were too numb to respond to other punishments. A Change.org petition was launched reporting perceived child abuse and neglect. The Franke parents posted in defense of the discipline, saying the incidents have been taken out of context. The 8 Passenger YouTube channel declined in popularity in 2021. In 2022, the Frankes separated and Kevin moved out the house. Ruby deleted the YouTube channel and began working as a mental health coach at Connie Exxon's, a company run by Jody Nan Hilbert, a counselor. They launched a new video channel together in 2022 and partnered in an Instagram account called Moms of Truth. And with offering parenting classes, neighbors and the Frankes' oldest daughter and college student called authorities to check on the latter's siblings, observing that their mother often left the children alone at home. On August 30th, 2023, Franke and Hilbert were arrested in Ivins, Utah on September 1st, 2023. Both were charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse, a felony, according to the statement from the Santa Clara Ivins Public Safety Department. The arrests were triggered after Franke's 12-year-old son, who appeared emaciated, had opened wounds and duct tape around his extremities, had climbed through a window of Hilbert's house and asked the neighbor house for food and water. Emergency services found Franke's 10-year-old daughter in the house, also malnourished. Both children were taken to a hospital where the boy was treated for severe malnourishment and deep lacerations from being tied up with rope. A search of the house found evidence consistent with the markings on the 12-year-old, and the Utah Division of Child and Family Services took the boy and girl to two more of Franke's children into care. Police later reported that, according to the boy, cayenne pepper and honey had been used to dress his wound. Franke and Hilbert were held without bail. Hilbert surrendered her license as a counselor pending resolution of the court case and a disciplinary investigation. After her arrest, YouTube banned Franke from the platform, also deleting 2 channels which were linked to her. On December 18, 2023, Franke pled guilty to the 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. She later pled not guilty to other counts. The factual basis elucidated the abuse is greater in detail, including an incident of Franke's forcing her son to work outdoors for over several weeks with inadequate protection, resulting in severe sunburns, and claims that the children were possessed. Franke agreed to serve a prison sentence and serve her respective sentence consecutively rather than concurrently. Franke was expected to testify against Hilbert in Hilbert's upcoming trial, but Hilbert separately pled guilty to 4 counts of felony aggravated child abuse on December 27, 2023, with 2 charges dropped as part of another plea deal. On February 20th, 2024, Franke received 4 consecutive sentences of between 1 and 15 years imprisonment, with the exact term she will serve to be decided by the Utah Board of Pardons and Paroles. Now, some of you may have some questions, and I'm going to give you some answers. So, prosecutors had said Eric Clark described the torture inflicted on Ruby Frank's children as a concentration camp-like setting during his opening statements in both Frank and Jody Hilbert's sentencing hearings. The children were regularly denied food, water, beds, and slept in virtually all forms of entertainment, said Clark. They were isolated from others and were hidden when people came to visit the house. The children were forced to do physical tasks like carrying boxes up and down stairs, walls, sits, or sitting against a wall without a chair or a stool for hours at a time, Clark added. They were also forced to do manual labor outdoors in extreme summer heat, at times without shoes or socks. They were forced to stand outside on a cement patio in the summer heat for hours and even days at a time. They were beaten. Both children had extensive physical injuries from the abuse that required hospitalization. He described how the children were conditioned to believe that the abuse was their fault. Had the older of the children not had the courage to run away and ask a neighbor to call the police, heaven only knows how much longer he could have survived in that situation. Clark saved his harshest words for Hilderbeck. While he said Franke had shown considerable remorse by agreeing to consecutive prison terms and being willing to cooperate with the state against Hilderbeck, he said Hilderbeck shown little to no remorse for her actions. In telephone conversations that will be provided in full to the Board of Pardons and Parole, in which she knew to be recorded, she reportedly claimed that she is the victim and the children are the perpetrators, Clark said. You may be wondering what's the connection between Ruby Frank and Jody Hilderberg. Well, in her statement to the court, Ruby Frank dismissed the idea that she was Jody Hilderberg's business partner. On Hilderberg's life coaching website Connections, Ruby is listed as a business team member with the title Certified Mental Fitness Trainer. Jody was never my business partner, said Ruby, nor was I employed by her. I have never received wages from her or connections. Jody was employed as my son's counselor in 2019 and in 2020. I paid her to be my mentor. It is important to me to demonstrate my remorse and regret without blame. I take full accountability for my choices, and it is my preference that I serve a prison sentence. Frank's sister, Julie, said in a YouTube video that Frank began counseling sessions with Hilderberg in 2020 because her family needed it. In her video, DeRue said that the Connections was not a great resource for her sister and that no one in the family liked hearing about Hilderberg's teaching. DeRue also said Franke suddenly cut her family members out of her life after getting involved with Connections. I literally had no contact with her, said DeRue. After statements by the prosecution and the defense, Ruby Frank has been sentenced to 4 to 30 years in prison, consecutive sentence for each count of child abuse. That is the maximum sentence for her under Utah State sentencing guidelines. How much time she actually spends in prison will depend on the state parole board. She was given a sentence of 1 to 15 years for each of her 4 counts of child abuse. Prosecutor Eric Clark explained outside the courtroom that the sentence for her crimes is capped by the state law at 30 years maximum. According to an August 31st search warrant viewed by Today.com, Ruby Frank's child informed medical personnel and officers that cayenne pepper and honey paste was made to put in his wounds. In Jody's bathroom, I located 2 used medical gauze dressings near a cayenne pepper and honey paste. One official stated in the warrant, this observation added to Miss Jody's knowledge of the abuse in the home. Miss Jody requested a lawyer and did not speak with us. So, my question is to you, everyone that's watching this, give me some feedback. What's your opinions on it? It's super unfortunate that some children had to go through this. And it's crazy that a person is on here on YouTube not practicing what they're preaching. You know, on the screen, she appeared to be a wholesome mom of 4, 5, 6 kids and this, that, and the third. But in reality, behind closed doors, she was a complete monster. And I think that, I don't know, she's it's sad, man. It's unfortunate, especially if you're a person that has kids, you know. I just hope those kids get the help they need and they're able to move past this. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but Let me know something in the comments. What y'all think about this? All right. Thanks for watching. Later.